Etepu, Assalamu alaikum, Namaste, Harun Nefer, Grand Rising, may Buddha bless you. This is Qesankh Keperu, priest, magician, with another video for you. And in this video, we're going to talk about a young man, age 25, from Akron, Ohio, named Jayland Walker, who was shot 60 times by the police. Let me say that again. 60 times by the police. But before I go into that, I want you to hit the like button on this video located below. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome. Hit the subscribe button to get notifications on when I go live and when I upload recorded videos. If you want to know more about my spiritual teachings, scroll down below. Click on any one of the links there, and you can download a free ebook. We have about 4 ebooks. They're great, absolutely free. But if that's not enough, and you want to follow that rabbit or the ferret down the rabbit hole, you can become a Patreon supporter for as little as $1, $5, or $20 per month. It's up to you. There is no obligation. You can cancel at any time. If you become a $20 supporter, you'll get your oracle readings for free. You'll get exclusive content, videos on the esoteric, videos on how to properly breathe, how to contact the ancestors, how to create a spirit, how to astral travel, and so much more. So become a Patreon supporter. Additionally, I do have sessions that you can partake in. If you're interested in getting rid of a bad habit or overcoming some past trauma, you can sign up for a hypnosis session. Very powerful session that will help rid you of that past trauma. It has greatly helped me in overcoming the abusive environment that I grew up in, my brother and I grew up in. And additionally, we have a lot of other things on my website, qesankh.com. So check that out. I also do have my 6-Figure PM program at the 6figurepm.com, which trains you to be a digital PM within 5 weeks. And after that, will help place you at a job making $100K per year to become a high value man or woman. So level up and take advantage of that. Now, Harun Nefer, I am going to say some things in this video that actually may hit hard, because too many of us think this is a game. It's a holograph, and you are a fractal. But this is not a game. You see, the cabal, the ruling elite, are psychopaths. And they're not going to rest until you have been eliminated, wiped off the face of the planet. They have infinite amounts of money, infinite resources to do it. And more than likely, they will. You see, we're at a critical time in history. Chinese proverb says, may you live in the best of times, or something to that effect. Oh, no. Maybe, may you live in interesting times. In A Tale of Two Cities, it says it was the best of times and it was the worst of times. Now, as I said, this is going to be a hard-hitting video because I don't think the message is getting across to people that this is not a game. Lives are at stake. Generations are at stake. A race of people are at stake. I'm going to say this again. The Illuminati will not rest until every person of color is eliminated off the planet. Then they're going to focus on killing off a majority of white people, reducing the population from what, 7-8 billion to maybe 1 billion. You see, just recently, a young man, 25 years old, Jayland Walker, was in a high-speed chase with the police. They were pulling him over for, we don't know why they wanted to pull him over. He began accelerating. When he finally pulled over, he got out of his car and began to run. Now, many police cars joined in on the chase, and when they stopped, the police officers got out and started chasing this young man. And just from looking at the video, it looked like they had to be around maybe like 10 or 15 police officers. They pursued this young man, whipped and drew out their weapons and shot him 60 times in the back from behind. This is frightening me. If you want to take a look at the video, the shocking video, I include a link below. I'm not going to play it because YouTube will give me a strike. Let me go over this again. Police were going to pull this young man over. We don't know why. He accelerated when he should have pulled over. He eventually stopped, got out of his car, unarmed. I'll say it again, unarmed. Ran. The police gave pursuit. In doing so, pulled out their weapons and shot him 60 times. The head police officer there told them to cease fire. Cease fire. So in other words, if he didn't tell them to stop shooting, they would have continued shooting this young man, unarmed young man, from behind. I want you to think about everything I have said and take a look at the video. Because despite Black Lives Matter, despite a new president, Biden, who's not mentally competent to hold office, we're back to square one. In other words, nothing has changed. We're back to square one. BLM was supposed to rectify the situation. But what did they do? Nothing. Nothing. They raised billions of dollars. And what did they do? Did they put together an office? A central office so that you can come to and file complaints and they would address those complaints? No, they bought houses, multi-million-dollar houses for their leaders and gave the rest of the money away to the alphabet community. Did they put into effect any legislation? No. I recently stopped talking to a friend because I could no longer tolerate his ignorance. Telling me that I should vote, that my ancestors died for me to vote. Talking to me as if I'm dumb. This is not rocket science, people. This is not rocket science. Google, go to any library and you could read books on revolutions and strategy. It's there in plain sight. You can play chess and learn strategy. I am so sick of our people. I am ashamed to be ADOS or Freedman or FBA or African American, whatever you want to call it. Because we have become a bunch of lazy idiots. I rarely allow the Sahu aspect of myself to show, but you are a bunch of nincompoops and you don't deserve freedom. On this day of July 4th, Independence Day, you can research what happened and use that as the model and basis to form your revolutionary movement. I have said over 5-10 years ago that, first off, I said, was 5 years ago, I believe, BLM was a fraud. And I was telling people to go to their website, look at their website, and how they said they were not for the Black family, how they were not for heterosexual Black males, and that they didn't want Black males as part of the organization. But instead of going and looking at their website and reading, everybody was buying BLM t-shirts and caps and going out there and protesting, yelling BLM. The information was there, easily accessible to tell you that they were frauds. I told people that they were portraying Trump as the boogeyman to get you to vote for Biden, who's mentally incompetent. This is a man who shits on himself, can't walk down a flight of stairs without falling, can't ride a bike, can't drive a car, doesn't know what state he's in. But everybody got together thinking that Trump was the enemy when he was not, and voted for Biden, who explicitly said he would do nothing for African Americans, who wrote the crime bill that created mass incarceration, who was against integration, but Trump was the racist. I spoke to everyone at length about this, told you about the Hegelian dialectic, how two choices is no choice, but you're so scared of Trump. You see, you don't even know how to vote. Everyone else does, the alphabet community, the Jews, the Italians, they know how to vote. And when Ice Cube put together a plan and went to both candidates and said, will you support this plan for Black America? He was attacked by Black women, saying your plan did not include Black women, when specifically it said all Black people. And then they lied and put out propaganda saying he was a Trump supporter because Trump said, yes, I'll meet with you to talk about your plan and I will endorse it. Let me explain to you how you're supposed to vote. You're not supposed to look at a candidate because he goes, oh, I feel your pain. I'll lower taxes. I'll work on immigration. No, you're supposed to put together a list of demands that your people or party wants, and you go to both sides, Democrat and Republican, and you say, here are demands. Which one of you will support us? And Biden said, no, I will not enact any of your demands, and in return, you voted for him. When Trump said, yes, I'll help you and I'll work on, there's some things I want to rewrite, but I will give you partial reparations. I'll increase money to historically Black colleges. The man that was going to give you things you didn't vote for, but the one who explicitly told you he would do nothing for African Americans. In fact, he gave money to the alphabet community. He created laws to protect the alphabet community, the Asians, and took money away from Black colleges. This is not rocket science on how to get free from oppression, how to end white supremacy. It's like I'm dealing with Mo, Larry, and Curly. It's like I'm dealing with Abbott and Costello. Black people have become an embarrassment. You support the very people that are out for your enslavement and oppression. I told everyone years ago that young Farrell was an agent, and people were, oh, he's got some really good information. Gave money to him so he can sue YouTube, and all he did was take that money and buy a new car, gold watches. You people are... See, you support your young Farrells. You support your Umar Johnsons, the Nature Boys, your Brother Polites, these agents and con artists. You give money to these people. Most of them want to be rappers. You gave about $2 million to Umar Johnson to build a fake school. He never built the school, went and took the money and snorted it, bought cocaine. So here we are again protesting about this young man's death, Jayland Walker. Back to square one. BLM didn't do anything in terms of putting him in legislation to protect you, hate crimes, nothing. You have become a disgrace, an absolute disgrace. This is so obvious to see how you're being played, and time again, you fall right into it. You're making it too easy for the ruling elite. You really are. I've laid out the plan, told you what they're doing, and you still give them money and support them. I told you that Farrakhan is an agent, but y'all want to march with him to Washington. And he's made no change. He's done nothing. Only thing he'll do is make a really deep speech, and you're wooed by that. And then you throw money to them, buy the final call. Then you'll take pictures of yourself with rifles and guns, as if you really would do something with those. You see, the reason why you protest, you know why you engage in protests? Because you're too scared to really fight to liberate yourselves. You're too damn scared to fight to liberate yourself. So you're caught up in symbolism. You allow these politicians to give you symbols instead of substance. Obama tricked you, did nothing for Black people. Biden is doing nothing. And where is his VP, Kamala Harris? Nowhere to be found. She's incompetent. But she's a sister girl. She's black, so that's why you voted for her. Your salvation doesn't lie in politics. It's a card game, 3-card Monte. You're going to lose every time. This is ridiculous. Every time one of us dies, we got the Black Panther Party will do a little march with their weapons. We got individual black people will take photos with their weapons and post it up on social media as if that means something. Let me explain to you. We know where George Zimmerman is. Where is he? Go find him. Don't march with weapons in some backyard. You see, if you go take out somebody from the mob, especially a made man, you and your entire family are gone. But when one of us gets taken out, what happens? Nothing. In fact, we may even vote that person into office. Young black women are missing in Chicago, are disappearing. No one's doing anything about that. You see, you're caught up in sports, music, buying Jordans, talking about what's on BET, Power. You don't have time for that because you're going to go extinct. We just found out that not young woman anymore, but the old woman, Carolyn Bryant Dunham, who accused Emmett Till of sexually assaulting her, admitted she lied. And a mob got together. This is way back, I think around 1955, and murdered that young boy, Emmett Till. Threw his body in a river. The body was so damaged from the beating in the water that it was advised that he not have an open casket at the funeral, but his mother said, I want the world to see what they did to my baby. They have just recently found a warrant for Carolyn because she's still alive. And there's no statute of limitations for murder. But here is the thing. Who's going to serve the warrant? It doesn't matter. Because we should be doing what we should be doing. We don't need to wait for the judicial system, which has proven to be ineffective, inconsistent, and just broken, locking black men up like crazy, destroying black families. And you vote in the very man who's responsible for the prison industrial complex. You vote in the vice president because she's black, but she's a prosecutor who held information back on black men that could have freed them. There's no reason in this world why Carolyn Bryant Dunham should be freed. There's no reason why she should be living to this old age. Because we're afraid as a people. We're scared. There's no reason why George Zimmerman should be traveling the country signing autograph at white supremacist events. Because we're too scared. There's no reason why BLM should have fooled us. There's no reason why these agents in our community should have been able to take money out of our pockets through so-called donations. We are backwards as hell. We are backwards as hell. And we don't deserve freedom. And we're going to keep going around in a circle. They're going to keep fooling us because we're so easily duped. They must think we're stupid because we act stupid. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. How many police shootings of innocent Black men and women have happened? And the only thing we can do is do a little protest and hope that the judicial system and the jury will make the right call. You're so scared to take matters into your own hands, to determine your own destiny. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? This is a pathological dysfunction where you are supporting the very people that are oppressing you, and then you cry out for freedom. Stop protesting. Stop marching with semi-automatic weapons to look good. And start doing things that directly communicate that we are serious about our freedom. Stop talking about sports. Stop supporting entertainment channels, concerts. At this point, we shouldn't care about Lil' Kim, Jay-Z, Beyonce. F them. They're not helping. F them. What are they doing for us? Absolutely nothing. The doctor comes to you and says, listen, you're dying of cancer. And you say, Doc, how quickly can I get out of here? I want to catch that Jay-Z concert. Doctor's like, you're not taking this serious. You don't understand. You are dying. That's where we're at. I cannot believe that Zimmerman is still around. How could any Black man allow that to happen? I'm sorry, but I'm putting this on the shoulders of Black men. How could you allow this to happen? And Black women, are you raising warriors or are you raising cowards? Are you teaching your children to be warriors? Because they don't seem to be. The great Dr. John Henry Clark told us over 20 years ago that Farrakhan was a fraud. But because he gives a good lecture. See, there is something in your mind that is so terrified of fighting back that you rather just sit and listen to a lecture or throw money at someone and hope they'll do the right thing. In most cases, they won't. Sharpton has shown you that. You go to the mega church on Sunday and throw money at the pimp pastor minister, you know he's crooked. You know he's crooked. There used to be a time where the black church was leading the civil rights movement. Now it's a business and a con game. Stop playing. Your life is at stake. Your children and their children's life is at stake. It doesn't matter that Jayland Walker was speeding. It doesn't matter he got out of his car and started running. These police officers have no excuse to gun down somebody, shooting them 60 times in the back. And then you, in response, get out there and protest. Someone should kick your ass, smack you silly. The days of protesting is over. Roe versus Wade was overturned because they know that the white population is dying out. They know the seriousness of the situation, but you don't. I went to a meeting of black men who were supposed to be talking about business, right? About starting a business in the community and all that. And then the conversation somehow for an hour devolved into talking about the basketball game. I got up and walked out. I remember going to Nation of Islam meetings at the mosque and them talking about, this is when Khalid Muhammad was alive. Oh, we're going to do this to the white man. We're going to do this and we're going to do that. Was involved for about 5 years and they didn't do nothing. Nothing. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. And many of us are the problem. We're afraid, we're weak, we're simple minded, we have low IQs. It's basic 101. Someone hits you, you hit them back. Class dismissed. That's all there is to this. It's not someone hits you, you turn the other cheek, then go out and protest. What's wrong with you? Nigeria is a waste. The women and the men prostrating before a white Jesus. Are you kidding me? Are you serious? Get your act together, people. Please. We're dying out there. These people have no morals, no humanity. We're not going to talk them into doing the right thing. You can't lock them all up in jail. It doesn't change their behavior. Stop waiting for a savior to come, or a new leader, or a new Malcolm, or a new Martin. Please take matters into your own hands and do what needs to be done. And will some of our people die? Will many of our people die in this process? Of course, yes. That's the nature of revolution. They're usually bloody. But unless you're willing to die for your freedom, it's not going to happen. No voting, no donations, no protests is going to get you your freedom. It's not. It's been tried, it's been done, and it's been proven ineffective. Time for a new plan. And when you enact this new plan, it's going to throw our oppressors off. It's going to shock them because they thought they had us figured out. So simple. I'm not supporting any protests. I don't want people sending me pictures of so-and-so marching with weapons. I don't want people telling me about a sister girl running for office. I don't want people telling me about a new brother who can become the next mayor of so-and-so and make some real change. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. If you look at YouTube, which could be used as a platform for communication, for revolution and organization, it has devolved into nothing but gossip talk, bickering, ego building. See, the oppressor has your number. So much so now, YouTube has black voices. They have they're appointing their own black spokespersons to head up their exclusive black division, which is going to be filled with rap and hip hop and entertainment, but nothing really revolutionary. It is a form of pacification. That's all it is, to pacify you. It's called controlled opposition. They create things like Black Lives Matter to make you think the organization is on your side. You see all of these black people with these YouTube channels and platforms talk, blah, 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 do nothing. Ask them, have you started an organization? What has the organization done? And 99.9% will say, I have not started an organization. I am not doing anything. I am just giving you information. Well, we have an abundance of information we don't need anymore. We are in an analysis of paralysis. We keep analyzing the problem, talking about the problem, but not doing anything. That's a paralysis. And all these channels are beefing with each other. You're correct, Bob. They just arguing with each other over nothing. Over nothing. Who has the most subscribers? Oh, Kevin Samuel stole my material. Just talk, 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 talk. No organization. Just like splinter cells doing nothing. Meanwhile, the ruling elite is testing new weapons in space, which was formerly called the Star Wars program, advanced technology, anti-gravity vehicles, lasers, teleportation systems, And what are you doing? You're talking about Beyonce. What did Beyonce do last week? What was the album, Jay-Z? What's Jay-Z up to? What's Kanye West doing? What's Cardi B doing? You are like the dumbest generation. The dumbest generation. Yet you have access to more information in the history of the planet. When I was going to school, there were still these things called libraries. There was no Google, there was no internet. Do you know, as one individual, what I have done? Let me explain to you. I have sued several corporations for racial discrimination. I have actively worked to get attorneys to help individuals to sue companies they work for over discrimination. I have participated in freedmen organizations to help our people. I have started organizations, civil rights organizations. I have authored papers. I have created movies and videos which map out what the ruling elite is doing and how we can counteract that. I have exposed patterns and practice of racism with corporations and the government. One man, this is what I've done. I had a program not too long ago. If you were a victim of discrimination, I would find a pro bono attorney for you. I was working with a group of Black attorneys. I was showing people how to get attorneys and not have to pay the expensive legal fees. I took part in events designed to bring awareness to slavery and oppression. I've educated young brothers, shown them how to get jobs, well-paying jobs. Got one guy, young guy, Puerto Rican out of New York, who thanked me because I took him to, he was interested in film, and I told him about this film training program where he could go, get paid, get free lunch and dinner, and they would teach him how to be a filmmaker. The young guy was so nervous and scared, and I said, I'll tell you what, I will go with you to the first class. I don't need to be there. I got other things to do, but I really want you to get into this program. So I went with him to the program. And the day I left my job, he stood up in the conference room with all the people said there and said, I want to thank Qesankh because he not only told me about this program, but he came with me to the first day. And I introduced him to people at the course. A young woman was discriminated against by a job placement agency. I called her up and said, I got an attorney. I even served as a witness in court I testified in court on her behalf. And still, I found time to pursue my other interests as studying Kemetic culture, being a filmmaker, writing scripts. Yet, everybody else has excuses. Has excuses. I made a film exposing the fact that they were putting a chemical in the water that was used to feminize men. I made a film about that, exposed the chemical. YouTube, of course, took that down, took that film down. It's on Vimeo, but YouTube gave me a strike and took that film down. Right, and the film, black people didn't really watch it. They didn't really care. I used to go to the library on my own and do all of my own research, just as personal, just for me. I would write papers and realize that black people didn't like to read. There's no excuse for why we're in the condition that we're in now. There's no excuse for why there's still this thing called racism. We could have eliminated this thing long ago if we didn't give money to the wrong people, if we didn't sit on our ass waiting for a savior, if we didn't support these pimp pastor ministers. There's no excuse. Don't tell me that you're one person. You can't do anything. Look at what I have done and look at what I am doing. I grew up in an abusive household. My brother and I would get beatings daily for nothing. We just get beatings by both my mother and my father. Yet I was able to overcome that. Travel the country to study with the top occult masters. Then when I got to a certain level of proficiency, travel the country to do speeches. And what did I get? Oh, you're biracial. Oh, you're not really black. Oh, I saw you with that Asian girl. You're not really down for the cause. That stuff you're talking about is too far-fetched. I don't believe it. What are your facts? Then I present the facts and I never hear back from them. I had one guy, I was on a call. This is just some guy. He's not of any importance. Decided to have a call about getting black men together to talk about problems we face. And I said, yes, I'll join your call. He didn't know my background and the extensive work I've done in the community. Got on the call, talked a little bit, and that was it. A week later, I got a call from this guy. I said, hey, what's going on? He says, listen, no offense, but I want to ask you a question. said, sure. What's the question? Well, you know that call we had where, you know, the brotherhood call? Oh yeah. He says, did you have a white girl on that call? I said, are you seriously asking me this? Did I have a white girl on the call? Are you seriously asking me this? I said, brother, you ain't wrote one paper, gave one speech, published anything, shot no films, sued no companies for racial discrimination, helped no one to get an attorney, and you dare ask me a ridiculous question like that? An offensive question like that? This is our mentality. This is our mentality. You see, you give money to these people like your Umar Johnson because they talk a lot of bullshit black nationalist talk. Hello, brothers and sisters. You know, we're gonna organize, and I don't want no snow bunnies there. I don't want no crackers there. And you buy into that bullshit as if all white people are bad and all black people are good. Those type of generalizations will get you killed. Most of the attorneys that I got to help me to file lawsuits were white Jewish attorneys. They were civil rights attorneys. They were entertainment attorneys. There was a Jewish organization of attorneys that called me up, said they wanted to work with me out in New York City. They actually stopped working with me when they saw that I was talking about how the ancient Egyptians were black. I guess they didn't like that. That bothered them. And in spite of all this opposition from black people, all the stupid things they've said to me, I've always been out there fighting on my own. So don't tell me you can't do something as one person. I'm not even going to mention the magical rituals I was doing to help people. So don't tell me you can't do something as an individual. When I get on YouTube and I'm talking, I'm also organizing and working in the background. When I joined this organization, it was a civil rights organization here in Las Vegas, one of the first things I did was I made available to them my personal email list with over 5,000 contacts. I asked them, I said, do you have any Rolodex? They're like, no. I'm like, wow, how could you be an organization without any Rolodex? Well, here's my Rolodex with 5,000 people, which includes attorneys, other civil rights organizations, important people that you can contact that will help you. Listen, but I digress. This man was shot in the back 60 times by the police. We've seen this before a dozen times. Emmett Till's murderer, this woman, Carolyn Dunham, should be in jail. George Zimmerman should be in jail. We're not doing what we're supposed to be doing. So don't ask for God's help. Don't ask for the ancestors' help. Because if we're unwilling to help ourselves, why would they want to help us? Please make sure that you donate to the channel and check out my program if you want to level up and make more money in your life, the 6-Figure PM. This is Qesankh Ma Keperu, son of Ma'at and Tahuti. My aunt is the beautiful goddess Heteru. Until my next video, Amin Ra.